Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I thought this would be an important video to give you a bit more scope on who the armourer was on the film set Rust. Hannah Gutierrez Reed was subject to numerous complaints on the one singular and only movie she was armourer on before Rust. A miracle as to even how she got hired for Rust, but we know now that they were looking to cut huge corners. So I thought this would be an interesting video just to go into, really, and actually quite important, because I've cited some of these things before. I've cited that, you know, she was almost fired and Nicolas Cage wanted rid of her, etc. This is the background, I guess you could say. So I hope you appreciate this coverage. I hope this sort of gives you an insight into who exactly she is, and why, you know, why basically it's a liability, it's an accident waiting to happen. I mean, you can read from the title here. You just blew my effing eardrums out. Rust armourer Hannah Gutierrez Reed discharged weapons without warning, and led to Nicolas Cage storming off. This is on the movie The Old Way. So let's take a look at this, right? Rookie armourer Hannah Gutierrez Reed, who loaded the gun that killed Helena Hutchins. Now, we can say that she loaded the gun because she's apparently the only one that's supposed to load it. Whether she was the one that loaded the live round in there or not, we don't know. But we can say, by protocol, she is the only one that was supposed to load the weapons. But we also have heard rumours that they were plinking with them as well. So, who knows at this point in time? You either admit to negligence and unsafe behaviour with props, again, just something used in a movie, or you admit that you were the only one who loaded the weapon. It's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, isn't it, really? While being handled by Alec Baldwin, was the subject of numerous complaints on her last movie. So Hannah Gutierrez Reed, 24, upset crew members and the star, Nicolas Cage, with her dangerous gun handling on the set of The Old Way, and this was just 2 months before Rust. So Stu Brumbaugh, the key grip on The Old Way, so it's just it's a crew member, basically, told the Wrap that the young armourer failed to abide by basic gun safety protocols. Now, the reason why I keep doing these videos is just to give you an overall viewpoint on everything. Because a lot of people keep saying, well, we shouldn't have any live guns on set, we shouldn't have any of these, you know, real weapons, etc., etc. It's like, okay, that's an argument to be had. But that argument removes us from the real focus here, is that these people were unsafe and didn't do or follow the safety protocols that have been keeping people safe for many years. That's the discussion that should be had. Your Dwayne "The Rock" Johnsons can come out and say, you know, we're removing all guns from our films, etc., etc. We'll fix it in post. All you like. All that virtue signalling is fine. But all it does, unfortunately, is remove the key discussion point here, is that there are safety protocols in place and they do work when they're followed. This individual did not follow them. So he said that after Gutierrez Reed discharged a weapon for the second time in 3 days without warning. Why would you do that? Why would you just suddenly let a gun go off without telling anyone? What are you doing? Nicolas Cage would yell, make an announcement. You just blew my effing eardrums out. And he just stormed off. Not smart, not good. Why would you do it? 3 days, 2 unannounced discharges. Brumbaugh, and there'll be so many people that will jump in the comments now who are, you know, very familiar with guns, and I'm sure they will be raging at that statement. I'm absolutely certain of it, because it's just common sense. Why would you not announce it? So Brumbaugh said that he told the assistant director on the Montana set that Gutierrez Reed needed to be fired. After the second round, I was pissed off. We were moving too fast, and she's a rookie. So after raising his concerns to his superiors, he learned that The Old Way was the young woman's very first movie, and a producer for The Old Way denied Brumbaugh's claims. I have no such recollection of this event on our set. I asked my partners the same. The details on some of these occasions, specifically when it pertains to The Old Way, have been blown out of proportion. So there are conflicting statements here. Conflicting. But what we do know, right, absolute facts, is that the armourer herself said she didn't know whether she was prepared or ready to work on the next movie, Rust. So the Old Way producer said that Gutierrez-Reed worked under veteran property master Jeffrey W. Crow, but Brumbaugh and another source who was on the set claimed that Gutierrez-Reed put the cast and crew in several unnecessary and dangerous situations. Now, there is a vested interest that the producer would be protecting the movie that they worked on. That's a fact. So, is there a vested interest for the crew member to come out and, make these claims? Maybe. They might be getting paid. Who knows? But the producer absolutely has a vested interest in making these statements to get like, no, our film was fine. Don't you worry about that. Because they don't want people to come crawling to them to be like, well, hold on a minute. What went on your set? Now, Brumbaugh insisted that she broke safety protocols when she walked onto the set with live rounds of blanks without making an announcement to the cast and crew. He claimed that she carried pistols under her arms and rifles in both hands, which were ready to be used and were pointed at people at times as she moved around on set, and that she fired guns without warning twice. So the key grip points to low budgets as to why someone so inexperienced was put in such an important role. The tragedy is it boils down to the producers. Been happening more and more as producers refuse to bring more experienced people because their rates are higher. They demand we take our time, and producers don't want to pay it, so they hire a newbie who's energetic and wants the job and will do it with less people. Now, we know the amount of money that Hannah Gutierrez-Reed was set to get on Rust, and we also know the amount that was set aside for Alec Baldwin, which we'll go on to into a minute because they sort of steamroll into one another. So this individual, Brumbaugh, would continue and said, the problem is she didn't have help. I would have had minimum 2 more people. She was doing everything by herself in that movie and on the other movie. If there was one more person in the other movie, the tragedy wouldn't have happened. We kind of know that anyway. Brumbaugh explained that he understood how mistakes could be made. You have an AD screaming at you, you're 24 and energetic and don't want to be yelled at. So you rush in and start arming people. Does make sense, doesn't it? So sources also told the Daily Beast of Gutierrez-Reed's unsafe mistakes on the Old Way set, saying she had handed a gun to an 11-year-old actress, Ryan Kira Armstrong. The source said she was a bit careless with the guns, waving it around every now and again, and there were a couple of times she was loading the blanks and doing it in a fashion that we thought was unsafe, and apparently doing it on the ground as well, where there was sand and dirt and pebbles and stuff, and they're not checking that anything had gotten into said gun, which is not good either. So we've got all of these statements. Awful, horrendous stuff, not good. But then this is an undisputable fact. Anyway, she also admitted in the podcast interview that she found loading blanks into a gun to be the scariest thing because she did not know how to do it. And had sought help from her father, legendary gunsmith Thel Reed, to get over the fear. So that's not good. That's not good. Why would you say that? Why would you do that? But the other thing on this podcast, so Gutierrez-Reed herself admitted that she wasn't sure she was ready for the job in an interview after filming for The Old Way Wrapped. This is, and I quote, "It was also my first time being head armourer as well. I was really nervous about it at first, and I almost didn't take the job because I wasn't sure if I was ready, but doing it, it went really smoothly. The best part about my job is just showing people who are normally kind of freaked out by guns how safe they can be and how they're not really problematic unless you put in the wrong hands." There's some sort of bittersweet irony there as well. But here we go. Here we get, this is the price anyway, right? $8,000 she was slated to earn. $8,000. So that's how cheap. That's the price, unfortunately, of Helena Hutchins' death. And then producers, including Alec Baldwin, set aside $350,000 to pay themselves. That's interesting. And that's a contingency fee for disaster. So at $7.3 million, over $250,000 goes to Baldwin and other producers. So 7 producers budgeted an initial $650,000 to pay themselves. That's quite a lot of money when your budget is only $7.3 million. But I thought that would be interesting. I thought that would be important, actually, to sort of just show how cheap Hannah Gutierrez-Reed is. And that is why people hire beginners. Now, it's important that people are hired. It's important that people get jobs and things like that. I completely agree with that. But probably just do a little bit more. Start them off low. Start them off low. Give them experience first. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of this down below in the comments. Give this video a like and please do share it because this is the background of Hannah Gutierrez-Reed on her other movie. Yes, there are some discrepancies there. The producers deny it, but they would deny it. It just is what it is. I mean, look, you've got Alec Baldwin on the set of Rust going, this movie was perfectly safe. How? The fact that someone is dead proves it was not safe. So take producers' comments with a massive pinch of salt. Thanks so much. Take care.